Hey beautiful people, in this video you would learn how to make this beautiful, sexy, amazing gown. Now don't go anywhere. I'm not yet. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Now in this video I'll be teaching you how to make this nice gown, and I have gone ahead to draft my pattern of camera. I'm going to put the link in the description box to take you to how to draft a basic bodice. So I've drafted the basic bodice. This is a gown pattern, and I'm going to alter this pattern to that style. And I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process, and it's beginner friendly, it's easy to understand, and it's not hard at all. So like I said, I have my gown pattern right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase my waist dart. Now, the kind of pattern I use a bustier pattern method to draft, which helps eliminate back bulges and all of those. So I'm going to erase my waist darts because I don't want to have a waist dart. I already have a bust dart, so I'm erasing my waist dart, and I'm going to redraw and structure my waist properly. I'm going to replace my waist measurements. I added an extra 1 inches because of my darts. So since my dart is no longer there, I would redraw my waist measurement. That's taking out the 1 inch I added on the pattern initially. So after doing that, I'm going to go in on the waistline and get a cut out down to the length of the gown. The length of the gown I'll be working with is 37. So I'm going to go in by a curve. You see on the style of the dress, the side there is gathers on the side, but the middle is kind of like straight. So I'm going to go in to get that curve that the gathers is on. So that's what I'm doing here now. And I'll go in with my marker pen so that the lines will be visible for you guys to see it properly. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 7 inches from my shoulder down. I'm going to take in 7 inches and draw a straight line. This is how deep I want the neckline to be, the neck of the dress, how open I want it to be. So I'm using 7 inches. But your busty, I don't want your boobs to show, you can use 6 or 5 inches. So by the shoulder area, I'm going in by 0.75 inches. This is because I don't want the shoulder to get to the edge of the I don't want the sleeve to get to the edge of the shoulder, and it's kind of like it's sleeveless. So I'm taking out 0.75 inches. You will see the way I'm going to draw the line now to take in my sleeve in a bit, so it will be inside a bit. Then I also measured the shoulder measurement I want to use, how wide I want the sleeve to be. That's 1.5 inches. That's what I used for this, and I'm going to draw and connect with a straight line down to where I measured 7 inches on. Next thing I'll do is I'm going to draw a straight line that will connect to my bust dart. And then I'll go ahead to label. I'm going to label the side. I will label it, so I would not mix the side of the front with the side of the back. And what I used at the bottom there is 1 inch. So when you open it, it's going to be 2 inches, but on fold it is 1 inch. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut. I'm going to go ahead and draw out my line to the hem of that side, to the end of the paper. So I'll draw a straight line there. And the reason I'm drawing a straight line there is because I'm going to cut it open, and I'm also to be able to close up my bust start. So I'm done with cutting out the front pattern, and see the way it is placed. I've closed up my bust start, and I'm also going to label this so I don't mix up the pattern with the back, the front pattern with the back pattern. So I'll drop them one side. And for the side that we cut out, I'm going to use slash and spread for this. I'll use slash and spread to spread out the cloth on the pattern on the cloth. So I'm going to draw out 4 or 5 lines, but I'm going to label them accordingly. I just didn't want to gather material, just gather off pattern material or something like that. You have to use the cutout you use, so that you're going to get the shape of the, you see that there's a way the cutout shape was. So you have to use the cutout, spread it on the paper. You employ the use of slash and spread, which I'm going to show you in this video how to do that, so that you'd be able to spread out the pattern on paper, on material, and get the arc that you carved out. Now this is my back pattern too, and I'm going to indicate where my zip allowance is going to be, so that once I'm done cutting it, I would not, mix up or get confused with my pattern. Always label your pattern so that you don't get mixed up or confused. Like I did in front, I'm going to erase the dots at the back, and then I'll go ahead to redraw my waistline properly, removing the 1 inch like I did in front and cutting it out. So next thing I'm going to do is, like I said, I was checking my waist. My waist is 29, so I was checking my waist to be sure that it's the correct thing I was doing. Next I'm going to do the same arc I drew, side arc I drew in front. I'm going to draw the same thing at the back, and I measured at the back 1 inch like I did in front, so it's going to align, like everything is going to rhyme up. So I'm drawing the arc down. I'm going to go in with my marker pen and draw this properly. And then I'll go ahead to cut it out. So after cutting, I'm going to do the same thing I did on the shoulder. I'll go in by 0.75 inches, right? And then I'm going to measure the sleeve, the hand, that is 1.5. So I'll draw in the 0.75. This, like I said, listen to the when I was doing the first part, I said this because I don't want the sleeve to get too close to the end of my shoulder. I want it to have like this nice sleeveless feel. So for my back, it can go all the way deep. The initial picture is that the back is very deep, but I don't want mine to be as deep as that. So I'm going to draw how I want my back to be. It's not going to go that deep. So I think I used up to 8 or 7 inches. I didn't actually measure it. I just drew it. So I'll go ahead and cut this pattern now. Like I did in front, I'm making use of slash and spread, and I see the way I'm labeling my back, and I'm going to cut it out. Now I transferring my pattern to fabric, and for this front I have pinned. I'm going to pin it down. After pinning down, I'm going to put in my sewing allowances. Now by the sides, the joining area, I'm going to use 0.5 inches for my sewing allowance all the way down. At the edge of the dress, I'll use 1.5 inches, and at the top, I'll use 0.5 inches. For my side fronts, after pinning for the side, the joining allowance by the side, I'm using 1.5, and then for the every other side, I'm using 0.5 inches. For my back, the part I measured my zip allowance, if you see it, your zip, I'm going to use 1 inches for my zip allowance, while for the side, 1.5 inches, and then for the other joining areas, it's going to be 0.5 inches. Now, one thing I did here is I closed the back so it doesn't gape when I'm done sewing. So you see that I did something, I close up like a dart at the hand side so it doesn't gape while when you finish wearing it. You know those things where the back is gaping so it doesn't gape out. So now I have 3 yards of material left at the down. I use 3 yards of material for this. So I use the upper side to cut the up, and then the down part I'm going to use to cut the gathers or flay or whatever. So I'm folding my 3 yards into 2. So that's 1.5. 1.5 for one gather, for one side gather, the other half for the other side gather. So I'm going to cut this out and spread it on this material. Material is folded into 2. The up 3 yards folded into 2. That's 1.5 yard. Each 1.5 for one side, 1.5 for the other side. So I'm going to put my fronts first, and the back would be on the other side. So I'll cut it open and then spread it out on this material. So please watch closely so you can see what I did here. After I'm done cutting, I went ahead to start pinning the paper in place. I didn't start directly from the edge because I'm going to leave 0.5 inches allowance to join it to the arc that we cut out, so the cloth. Do you understand? So I would pin, slashing them. I slashed in no particular order. Some people will slash with maybe 1.5 inches or 2 inches or whatever. I didn't slash it by that. I just slashed in no particular order. I spread out my pattern in no particular order. I didn't know the amount of allowance I left in between each patterns I spread out. I just spread them out. So you can decide to use 2 inches, you can decide to use 3, 4, whatever. It depends on how full you want it to be, right? But I know I use 3 inches, 1.5 inches for both, 1.5 yards for one side, 1.5 yards for the other side. So after this, I'll go ahead and cut it. See, I'm following the shape of the arc that I'm cutting. The way the arc is, please follow the shape of the arc that you're cutting. Just don't cut it anyhow. That is why I used the sides to cut the gathers. I used the sides. This did slash and spread rather. Sorry, this slash and spread so that I can get, so the arc, once I spread them together, that arc would still form and like go in place properly. So I've gone into iron hair stay on my material because that material is actually light. So iron paper stay on it. and I've cut my lining fabric down off camera. Of course, the line, if I'm going to line it. So this is the back side, this is the center, this is the side front, this is the center front. So you see the way it is, that's the way I'm going to join it. This is also this, so you see how the front is going to be after you join it together. So you join and then you join on 0.5 inches. That's the number, that's the allowance you left. So I'm going to join on 0.5 inches and I'm going to bring it for you to see. Okay guys, so I am done joining this together, the sides, the bodies, and I'm done joining the upper side. Though I've not joined the gathers, but I'm just going to I've joined the upper side. So you see how neat my sewing is. I'm going to open up my zip allowance so you see it well. I joined with neat inseam finishing, right? So the arc is where the gathers is going to go in. Okay, so is giving this a good press now, and it's going to come out really nice. So that part I opened up is my zip allowance. So this arc, the arc side, do you see it? So the gathers is going to come in to the arc there all the way. This is it. So once I draw, see how it's entered in. So I'm going to pleat it on this arc, pleat the flay side or gather side on the arc. So I'm done joining, and this is what it looks like. So on my rough edges, I'm going to weave that or serge it together with a serging machine. And this is what we have at the end of the day. You see how neat my inside finishing is. I finished with inseam finishing. I made sure all my joinings are inside, apart from the parts where I added the arc, and I'm going to weave that together. So the middle part is my zip, and that's that, and we are done with this tutorial. Thank you guys for staying tuned. Thank you guys for staying to the end of this video. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe and share, and turn on post notifications to get notified when I post new videos. If you learned something, please comment. I really appreciate. If you have any question, just ask me in the comment section. I'm going to respond. Thank you so much. See you in my next video. Bye.